guys, welcome back to the Soul Society podcast. I am Maureen, aka Indigo, and I'm just gonna hop right back into the story. So, my ex-husband, but he was dropping the kids off to my mother while I'm at work so she could take them to church, and he would go cheat on me. Yep. So, at some point I was just like crying, and I was like, you're the one that I usually would go to when I'm crying, and I can't even do that, so I have no one to go to. And this led us to start talking, and the more we talked, the more it became, hey, let's try and work things out. So I got on board. I was like, mind you, I was a Christian woman, religious. And so we started going to church, my mother's church, that Sunday that we decided we're gonna try and make things work. So the first time we go to church, I noticed I felt really weird. Like I was in my own bubble and everyone else at church was all together. Like it felt like universes apart. Like I wasn't supposed to be there. I don't belong there. So that's part of the awakening experience. And I was like, well, whatever. And then I was just like continuing to try and work on our marriage. Also, I'm gonna add, this is during like the pandemic, all that shit going on. So I would not have been able to get a divorce anyways. They were only holding cases open or accepting cases like domestic violence type things. So I'm also gonna mention that I couldn't even like watch TV because everything was like relationship, cheating, and I was just like crying, and it didn't matter what I watched or listened to, I was just crying. So that was super annoying. I remember like yelling at him about that. And then on top of everything, I found out about this just before my birthday. It was probably like a week and a half before my birthday. So I was like, wow. Interesting, I guess. And then, so my birthday's about to come up. We decided we're gonna work this out, try to, right? My birthday is also close to Mother's Day. So in between my birthday and Mother's Day, for like a combined gift, he got me a Porsche Cayenne, which is my dream car. So yeah, he dropped it off at my job in the parking lot. And of course, I'll be honest, that helped. So yeah, Porsche Cayenne, and then being a hairdresser, he ended up also putting together a salon in our basement for me. So also helped. But it was almost like this knowing that like deep down, like I'm so uncomfortable. I don't know how I'm gonna get over this. How can I jump over this hurdle? Because this is like, I was trying to have like this positive mindset, but I think it took about a month of trying. He actually said I didn't try hard enough or long enough. Anywho, and then I was like, I just can't do this. Like, I did not want to be intimate with him, like regardless, like sex, kissing, sleeping in the same bed as him. Like, all I could think about is like him and her and how they did it and like what, like how things went down. Like, and there was time where I just like felt like gross, like, you know. And then I was like, this whole like self-worth, like feeling like, dang, like you fucking deserve better than, like talking to myself, you deserve better than this girl. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, this does not feel good. I don't like it. So I would say it was about a month. He moves out with his daughter. The kids are obviously all affected. They're upset, a lot of crying going on. And that honestly, that went on for a while, the kids being really upset. And obviously, yes, this is like a big change, upsetting change in their lives. And then like the whole going there every other weekend and whatnot, or every weekend at the time, the kids just wanted us to be together, period. Like, it didn't matter what happened. They're like, well, I want you guys to be together. Like, that sort of thing. I just, very heartbreaking. So I did notice though, after he moved out, I felt so free, and like I didn't realize how much I was walking on eggshells, really not being myself. I couldn't like relax. Like, I felt so relaxed when he was gone. It was just a life-changing realization. Yeah. And then like there were times where I felt bad because the kids were expressing they were upset, they wanted us together and everything. But I kept telling myself in the back of my mind, like, I need to teach them that they cannot settle for being treated in any way, shape, or form that is not okay. Being cheated on, for example. It may like suck for everybody right now, but in the long run, they're gonna realize, like, yeah, mom was teaching us. We don't settle, we don't put up with shit. We like what they deserve, right? So I kept telling myself that in the back of my mind. And also, a lot of people say they stay for the kids, but you're teaching them to put up with whatever it is that you're dealing with, whether it's abuse, cheating, just being unhappy, period. Yeah, that's what you're teaching them, that it's okay, you know? So keep that in mind. Because I've heard people say, well, I stay for the kids. I'm like, I'm gonna bite my tongue because you're not gonna like what I have to say. So yeah, this was also, okay, during the pandemic, couldn't get a divorce, right? He moved out, blah, blah, blah. He started to really bother me and stalk me and text me and call me all the time. What are you doing? Are you talking to somebody? Da da da. And I was just like, bro, you cheated on me, and then you are trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing. You're worried about if I'm with somebody? Like, what the hell? And he would just show up, and then like shit got real fucking crazy. He ended up putting a tracker on my car. He put hidden cameras throughout the house when I wasn't there. Yeah, he actually confessed to the cameras. Like, I still didn't know they were there, and he just like fessed up. Like, I don't know why, but he did. So it took him down, whatever. That's the first set of cameras, mind you. So yes, that means there was more later down the road. So I was fed up at some point. I was just like, bro, I'm calling the fucking cops, because he had came and we're just arguing. He wanted my phone. I was like, no. So it got heated. Thank God the kids weren't around. But I called the cops. He left. Cops showed up, and I see a woman and I see a man. I'm like, thank God, because the woman will have my back. Yeah, so much for that. So I started explaining, he's stalking me, he's bothering me, this and that, the cameras, and the guy was silent the whole time. And I was like they're both silent, and the woman, like, I could feel her energy, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you're supposed to, like, girl power, like a girl's girl. Like, I was feeling it. I was like, this does not feel like as I'm explaining shit to her. She goes, well, why don't you get off your ass, go to the courthouse, and get a divorce? And I was like, my fucking mind was blown. What the fuck? I was like, did she just say that? Like, it was like instant tears, like floodworks. Like, I was so, like, it felt like such a betrayal, like sisterhood, like what the fuck? And just such a shock. Like, you were silent this whole time. She did seem annoyed that I was even speaking to her, that I called her for this. And then I was already upset because this man would not leave me alone. And imagine, like, having cameras in your house and you don't know about them, and being watched and, like, tracked and all this stuff. So just, oh my God, you cry out for help and this is what you get in return. Just, the tears were wild. And then I was like, through sobbing, I was like, I can't because the courthouses are closed, and just like sobbing. I was like, I tried, and she wasn't saying nothing. I know the man, like, he could not even show his face. He was just like, his head was down, like a punk. I'm gonna say, I don't care. There's a different word I was gonna say, but so yeah, I was just like sobbing, telling her, and I was like, why are you talking to, like, I started yelling at her. I was like, why are you talking to me like this, like, while sobbing? And I think I was just being like, I was just like, no. And then, because we were outside, and then I just like went inside. I was like, I just told myself, I was like, I'm not putting up with this bullshit, like, what the fuck? So I was just like, I don't know if she said anything or if they were talking, but I just decided in my own, I was like, no. And I just like went inside and just like cried, and just my mind was so blown. I was like, what on earth? And I hate to say this, but I shouldn't have been too surprised, because there are other times where I've had to reach out to the police, and shitty fucking treatment. Wild. The fuck? I don't know. But I did end up filing a complaint on her, like, and what's crazy is they, like, before I told them who it was, they already knew. Tell me how she still works there. Whatever. Yeah, so that was the craziness of, so then, because we're married, they said that he could put those cameras in the house. Didn't fucking matter whether it was like morally right or wrong, because we were still married. He could come and go in the house as he pleased. And I was like, this is some crazy shit. Like, what on earth? Yeah, I don't know. And then, so yeah, this went on, this stalking shit, whatever. I was really just keeping to myself and like healing on my own, and eventually telling people, like friends and family, like, hey, yeah, this happened. And honestly, got support from most, but there was some like not so supportive. Yeah, kind of like upsetting, especially someone close to you, right? You would think like they would want the best for you, and I'm glad you got out of that relationship, and no. So this is like, again, a part of the awakening, realizing who's for you, who's not for you. Eventually I was really like shut down. Like I really became isolated to the world. I was not trying to talk to nobody, nothing. I became friends with somebody, and like around the same time, I started getting into crystals. And I feel like so many people during the pandemic was getting into spirituality, realizing things, awakening. That's when I started getting my cards. I started off with oracle cards. Yeah, crystals, all the things, right? And eventually this friend, he was checking up on me every now and then, and I was like, oh, this is nice, like, because it was very the way he spoke to me was just very understanding. Yeah, it just felt really good. And I've known him for a long time from high school and stuff, so he would check up on me, but eventually he was like, it's time to get back out there. And I was like, huh? He's like, no, you should. I think it was a year from when I found out, around a year, at least a year. And he was like, you need to get back out there, start dating, whatever. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I was like, I wanted to, but I was like, I didn't want to. And I was like, I never want to be in a relationship again. I'm never gonna get married. Da da da. And I was like, all right, well, I don't want to be in a relationship. I'm not trying to get married. Da da da. I was like, if you find somebody, cool, whatever. So he did. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah, shit gets real interesting. And thank you so much for being here and listening to my story. I hope it's helping you. Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe. I will be posting I was gonna say readings. I'm so used to saying that. My podcasts every Sunday at 8 p.m. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.